Joining us now, FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about Donald Trump and his reaction to Jimmy Kimmel being back on the air. He posted a lengthy message on his social media. I'll put it up on the screen, but I'm going to focus on just one part of it. He says he is yet another arm of the DNC. He's talking about Jimmy Kimmel. And to the best of my knowledge, Trump says that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. When Donald Trump is saying he's going to test ABC out on illegal campaign contributions, how does the FCC, how might Brendan Carr at the FCC, or how could he get involved in that?
Well, let me just point out that this is just another example of the intimidation tactics that this administration is using in order to force broadcasters to report on this administration in a way that they want, or in this case, for comedians to not make jokes that upset President Trump. I don't know what the president is talking about. We certainly do not have authority to retaliate against broadcasters because of their content, and that includes satirists like Jimmy Kimmel. It would be unconstitutional to do so.
Certainly, Brendan Carr went on TV or a podcast the other day and said that, we could do this the hard way or the easy way. He's tried to walk that back. But the implication that many saw was that he was going to go after, licenses and television. So can you go after a TV station's license over what Donald Trump is arguing is an illegal campaign contribution, that he somehow is giving more time or more messaging or propping up a Democrat, and that somehow breaks FCC regulatory rules? I mean, do you envision a world where they try to use that in court, or at least, subtly with TV stations that are looking to merge?
No, the commission does not have the authority to do this. In fact, it is powerless to do this because we are prohibited from censoring broadcasters' content. We're prohibited by the First Amendment, and we're prohibited explicitly by the Communications Act. I don't know exactly what they're talking about. We used to have something called the Fairness Doctrine, which was actually eliminated during the Reagan administration, which got more to presenting maybe both sides of the story. But we don't have that anymore. And the reason we don't have it anymore is because at the time, conservatives were so concerned about the First Amendment implications of forcing that kind of speech on broadcasters. So we don't have the rules or the statutory authority or the constitutional authority to go after broadcasters. However, what this administration does is it threatens. It tries to bring broadcasters to heel before it gets to any kind of judicial review of the actions that it is taking. And so therefore, it is incumbent on all corporations, all companies, all citizens to understand that this is something that the administration is powerless to do and that they need to push back, because we need to defend our fundamental freedoms under the Constitution.
Jimmy Kimmel worried last night that there might be pressure in the future on those who provide internet, the pipes we call it, the Comcasts, the Verizons, the DirecTV, the ones who either provide cable itself or also provide the internet that people use to download podcasts or whatever. He worried that in the future there could be government pressure on those that provide that not to allow downloads of certain conversations or podcasters or whatever that the government might not like. Does the FCC have any control, any regulatory power over those pipes, over broadband?
So we do regulate broadband providers. Well, we have minimal regulations now of broadband providers, but that's more in the traditional telecom service that they are providing. We do not have authority to take down internet content. We don't have authority over the internet. Or the content of the internet. As an FCC, our Telecommunications Act is quite old and does not reflect that particular mode of communication. So no, we would not be able to do that. Now, I do think that this administration will find any lever it possibly can to weaponize its authority in any agency throughout the administration in order to take action to shut down speech it doesn't like, so that only the speech it wants and its ideology is the one that gets reported, broadcast, joked about, etc.
Should the FCC exist?
Yes, the FCC is a very important agency. And in fact, I wish we would just go back to our core duties of ensuring that everyone has access to affordable telecommunications and broadband services. We license the airwaves, not just for broadcasters, but for example, for satellite providers. Your cell phones use airwaves. We license those. We are an important part of the innovation ecosystem because of all the work that we do to get spectrum so that these services can work. We help public safety meet the needs of their communities. But we also have a role in regulating media, just not in the content of the media. Our role is not to censor.
In a world where you have a political leader or political party that might want to use the levers of government to exert control, as they have been appearing to try to do, in that world, does the FCC play a necessary role? Or can we function without that regulatory system overseeing broadband or overseeing broadcast news outlets?
Well, this is what's so troubling about setting the precedent of using the FCC in order to try to control the content that viewers and listeners can see and hear. We need to ensure that the FCC has guardrails around it so that we cannot, in fact, do that. We are supposed to be an independent agency. And Congress created us as an independent agency because it was concerned about exactly what is happening right now, and that is that we would be subject to the whims of a single person. And instead, they made us a multi-member expert body so that we would have a diversity of viewpoints and would not be subject to one person.
Only Democrat in the body right now, Ana Gomez. Thank you so much. Appreciate your perspective and your analysis. Thank you for joining us.